What we've learned at Manz & Vuller in 30 years of experience, prior to Manz & Vuller and during the Manz & Vuller experience, is that we've realized that in creating strategic environments, we really need to create an environment that there is collaboration, which you'll hear everybody say, there is open communication and information flows very freely. In creating these environments, you start to look at your organization structure. And that's one of the first things that anybody will look at, and that's one of the things that we look at. What does your organization structure look like? Who is in that organization, and what are the components of that today? So if you look at an organization structure, it's typically surrounded by a number of departments that are all focused on a vision, a purpose for being, and the values that drive that company. And we actually call those guiding principles, because we really want them to be the guide of how you act in your personal life, your business life. And by that we mean, how do you interact with all of the people around you, your organizational community? And that is really important. So if we look at it, typically we've got sales and marketing, finance, technology, operations, distribution and manufacturing, and human resources. And there are a number of other departments that you may have depending on the type of organization that you have, like research and development and other things. But if we look at it, typically they are working towards a common purpose. But they aren't necessarily communicating with each other, or all the departments are not necessarily communicating or supporting each other. And what we do in the process that we go through is we take your organizational structure and we look at it and we say, how do we flatten that organization structure so that we can in fact create synergy, so that there is more collaboration and communication between departments, which spawns some of the most important things in creating success in your business: creativity, innovation, which results in growth. To do that, we need to take some people out of their comfort zone. And a lot of us have had that experience of getting outside our comfort zone. So if we look at it, we say, how do we create an environment where there's not only a focus on the common vision, but the individuals in the organization start supporting and collaborating with each other across departments that typically would not necessarily be collaborating and communicating with each other. And we do that in a process called reverse ripple. And what we start to do is help individuals talk about what they experience further out from themselves. So from people that they don't necessarily interact with or are close with on a regular basis, and they're comfortable hearing some feedback because they don't have a lot of weight to add to that. But what we do is we bring them in closer and closer and closer until we get to a point where we get to the point of impact, which typically would have been where you dropped that pebble in the pond and the ripple started going outwards. We start from the outside and bring them in, so that by the time they get to the center, they're hearing the critical information from the people that are important to them, so that they can create change, so that they can create growth in themselves, and ultimately that growth will allow the organization to grow and innovate and create strategies as well as processes that will allow them to excel in the marketplace and support the organizational community, both internally and externally to the organization.